Welcome to my video on how to compare two Excel files in UiPath. This video is part of my Udemy course, Learn UiPath RPA Automation from Scratch to Advanced Level. In this course, I cover all the concepts from basic to advanced level. So if you are interested to learn RPA and UiPath and want to start your career in RPA, this is the right course for you to purchase. Even if you want to do online training on UiPath, also you can contact me. I have given my course link and email ID in the next slides. Okay, let's go to the video now and start our automation to compare two Excel files. Right, so this is my course URL. You can click here, and if you want, you can purchase it. And also, if you want to take online training with me, you can send me an email to this email ID. This is the snapshot of my course. Even you can click here and you can purchase. Okay, so now let's start our compare to Excel files automation using UiPath. So first we need to open the UiPath and we have to create a process. And then we are going to read data from Excel file 1 and we are going to store that data into one output variable, say DT first. And then we are going to read data from second Excel file and we are going to store that data into another output variable, that is output data table, say it's DT second. And then we are going to install the following package, that's UiPath team.data_tables_comparison.activities. And then we are going to pull data tables comparison activity and we are going to compare the files. As an output of this comparison, we are going to define three output variables, say DT both, DT left only, DT right only. And then we are going to store this value from this data table to each different Excel files. And then finally, we are going to open that Excel files and we are going to verify the results. Okay, so now let's go to the UiPath. So let's create a new project. I think I have already created one project. Let's close this. We are going to create a new process from here. Say compare to Excel files _1. Maybe we'll give some description, relevant description. I'll copy the same thing here. Now I'm going to copy this into my folder. I'm going to give, okay. Right, now let's click on create. Let the process create. Right, now let's come to main workflow. I double clicked here. We are going to add one sequence activity here. Sequence workflow. Let's name it as compare to Excel files. Okay, so now first we need to prepare the data, Excel file 1 and Excel file 2. We need to have some matched data and mismatched data, so that when we compare we will see the results. So for that I have already created these two files. I'm going to copy these. I'm going to copy these two files to our project folder. Right. So let's go to this project again. Let's create a test data folder over here. Test data. We are going to keep those two files over here. So for that, let me go to this location. Right. Now I am going to copy paste it, those two files which I copied there. Right. Now let's see the data, what kind of data we have. Okay, this is inventory 1. We have the data like this. In the invoice date, we have November 6, 2020, and product code we have like PR001 to PR007, right? PR001 is a laptop, Dell laptop, Sony laptop, Lenovo laptop, all this we have, right? Corresponding quantity, unit price, amount. So in the second Excel file, let's forcefully make some changes. So let me minimize this and let's go to the second Excel file. Here, if you notice, purposely we made it PR004, the invoice date as November 7. Okay, so when we compare this one using automation process, so this needs to be in the right file. This needs to be printed because this is not available in the left, right? Because mismatch, so that this will be available in the right file, and this should be, and right, the second one is we made it forceful mismatch, in that means PR005 is here, but here we renamed that to PR0051, right? So obviously this will be marked as mismatch, right? So in the right file we will be having these two rows. All that we will verify in the results, right? Apart from that, if you notice, in the row number 9 and 10 we don't have anything, but we have in the right file we have 9 and 10. So these two rows is not there here. So in the right file what we will have is we will have these two rows also, and these two mismatch also we have, right? Right. So in here, whatever the common data it is matching between these two files, that will be there in on Excel, right? That all that we will see in the results after running the process. Now let's close this data files. Let's go back to the process. Now let's refresh this. Our data sheets will appear here. It's appeared, right? This is the project folder, right? Now let's first create one Excel application scope, because whenever we read data from the Excel file, directly we cannot read the data from the Excel file. We need to use Excel application scope. That is the initial object we need to use if you are dealing with Excel files, right? So for that, I'm going to click on this plus button and I'm going to pull this Excel application scope. I'm going to double click this. Right here, what we are going to do is we are going to invoke Excel Exe. Okay, Excel Exe. Wherever that Excel Exe is stored, that is the instance. We call that as the instance. Okay, so let's find out the Excel Exe file where it is located, right? Let's right click and give it as open file location, and here also it is shortcut it's showing, right? Still we have to go to right click properties and open file location to find the exact location, right? So now let's do shift right click. We will see an option called copy as path. Click on this. So the entire path is copied. Now let's come back to the process and put that path over here. Right, copied. So this is our instance, Excel instance. Within this, if you want to read the data from the Excel file, we are going to use read range activity. Read range, I pull that over here. Right, here also we need to mention the workbook. So here what file we gave, here this is the Excel instance, that means Excel exe file, but here we are going to give our data sheet, right? Our data sheet is here. Here we are going to give. This is absolute path, but here we are going to mention relative path. Okay, relative path means we need not to give this all the absolute location, we need not to give. By default, UiPath will know this project folder location. So this test data folder is within this project, so directly we can give this as the relative path. So let's give it within the double quotation. Let's give test data backslash inventory1 dot XLSX, right? Inventory1 dot XLSX. That's done. So we are going to read all the content from this sheet 1 of this file, right? So we need not to mention any specific range over here. If we are going to mention all the content, we have to make this null, right? It's done. And then whenever we are reading the data, we have to store it one data table, that is output data table here. So let's create a variable that we name it as dt first. Done. Okay, now the same thing we need to do for inventory 2. So what I'm going to do it, I'm going to copy this and paste it instead of once again pulling that, right? Only I'm going to change the file over here. And output data table variable also we need to change. So I changed it inventory 2. And output variable data table we need to change. So it's not, that's for the first data file. Now let's give control K. Let's give it as dt second. Right, now we have read the data and we have put the data into the data tables, and we are going to compare these two data tables only, right? For doing that, we are going to add one package called UiPath theme dot data tables comparison, right? Let's go to all packages and find for UiPath theme dot data tables this one, UiPath theme dot data tables comparison dot activities, right? Install this. Now we will pull the data tables comparison activity. It will be available in the activities panel. Right, now data tables comparison, it's available here. It's basically available here, right? It's available here. Okay, so now let's pull this one, data tables comparison. Right, so we are going to define the output properties for this activity. What we need to mention is output variable. We have, first we need to mention input and then we will mention the output. The input is actually the data tables, right? We had dt first and dt second, right? That one, dt second, and then we are going to define the output variable, output data table variables, because this activity will do the comparison of dt first and dt second, and it will store the results into suppose in these two files, whichever data are matching between these two files, it's going to be the matched data, it's going to be in this both, right? So now let's call it as dt. Let's create a variable called dt both. Okay, data table both, and this one we call it as dt left, right? Control K, dt left. This is the variable we are creating. This is actually the data table variable. And likewise for dt right. Suppose if there are some rows in the first file which are not there in the second file, and there are some rows in the second file which are not there in the first file, for to hold that one only we are creating this left only dt left, and dt right only, let's name it as using control K, let's name it as dt right. Okay, dt right. So now the results will be stored in these output variables. So if we want to see the proper results, let's copy this data table to a CSV file, right? It's very easy, right? As a output file. So before that, let's go to the projects. Let's create a folder called results. There we will store the results. So right click, add folder results. Right, so results available here. So now let's use write CSV. Let's name this as, let's save the first file result, maybe the both we will save it over here, and then left right we will save it, right? So the file name, we will take the relative path of this one results, right? uh, Double quotation, mention as results backslash um, comparison result, comparison results, some name. Okay, comparison results both, let's name it as CSV file. CSV file. What we are going to write here, let's write first dt both. Okay, this is the data table we are writing here in this, and then we are going to pull another write CSV activity. It's already there in the recent, double click on that, and let's store left file, right? Again we will store, we will use that results relative path. So results backslash left file results dot CSV. What we are going to write here, dt left. Right, that's done. And now we are going to pull another write CSV activity, and we are going to use again the relative path results backslash write file results dot CSV. Right, what we are going to write, dt right. Right, that's all. Our process development is done. Now let's execute and let's let's cross verify the results, right? Since we are using write CSV, it will, the CSV file will be created under results folder. Right now nothing is there, it's an empty folder. Let's run this one now. Okay, so it has been done now. Now let's refresh this. Let's see the results folder. The file has been created. Now let's take the first file, comparison results both.csv. Let's double click on that. So it gives this data, right? This is the matched data between those two Excel files, right? Now let's go back. Let's close this one. And then let's open left file results.csv. As we discussed while preparing the test data itself, it has given the mismatched data, right? Here the date we were giving the different date in the right file, and here we were giving the PR0051 in the right file. So this is mismatched. In the left, these are because of this date mismatching, it is listed out here in the left file. And in the second row, because of product code mismatched, it listed out here, right? This, let's see the right file now. Right file also, it has the same thing, right? This is because of the date mismatch, this is listed here, and because of this product code mismatch, it's listed out here. Entire row will be mismatched because, right? And then these are the new rows added, right? While preparing the test data itself, we added this new row because these two rows not available in the left file. So obviously in the right file, whatever it is there, it will be listed over here. So this is how we can do the Excel comparison. Two files we can compare easily, just a fraction of second we can compare the results, right? Okay, thank you. If you want to subscribe my course, if you want to know in depth all the concepts as I described in that video, you can go here and purchase my course, or if you want to have training online, just you can contact me in this address. You can contact me in this address. Okay, thank you. Let's catch up on the next video. You can subscribe my channel. Thank you.